Good morning, everybody. My name is Jody. My husband David John and I have a small farm in the panhandle of North Idaho. These are our stories and adventures, so welcome to Moose Flats Farm. So today is probably the happiest day for at least my geese for 2020, or actually 2022. Their pond, before I get over there and they make a bunch of noise, their pond has thawed, so I was able to go and sweep out the winter's worth of ick, and in the process of refilling it, I'm going to show you some happy geese. See, and they can be quiet. It's only probably got about an inch in it right now, but they're working hard on getting clean. But I do have, and I say do have and then I don't finish my sentence. One of my Muscovy hens is sitting on one of the, scared a chicken, on 5 goose eggs. So hopefully she's going to hatch me out some baby geese. And it was like last year when Valkyrie the goose hatched out Muscovy babies. Figure it's turn for a Muscovy to hatch out some goose eggs, and the geese aren't quite yet broody. So no sense in wasting those eggs. If this mama wants to try to have some baby goslings, more power to her. But a weird development, and one of my juvenile turkey hens, I have her sequestered in the brooder right now, came home from work yesterday, and she had had an injury on the side of her head, and we'd gotten that all healed up. The scab had fallen off. She was looking good. I came home from work last night, and the whole side of her face, where her eyes and everything, was just all bloody. So I don't know if when the boys were trying to breed with her, if one of them stepped on her head and scratched the side of her face really bad across her eye. Not sure if she's gonna lose her eye or not, but it's unfortunate. One of the downfalls of having animals is they do unfortunately get injured. But show you this little girl. Hi, sweetheart. There. As you see, it looks pretty bad. So I've just been coming out. I'm going to be trying to get out here twice a day and soak it down and just keep applying some medication on it, so hopefully it won't get infected and she'll be fine just having the one eye. But unfortunate side effect. But let's go and work on getting the hoop house planted. So the first thing I'm going to do before I get in here planted is kind of take a look at these trays, because this one, it only has this one little guy that looks like he's trying to make it, so I'll get him dug out and planted. And even though this tray looks really bad, there is, like this guy right here, he does have growth coming on him, and this guy here. So I'm going to carefully go through and pull these out, trim the dead leaves off, which I'm going to have to get a pair of scissors, I forgot, and get these plugs planted. But I did, on safety side, bring out the seeds for going out here, so we're going to be doing the carrots and the beets and replanting the brassicas. What else do we got? Radishes, more pak choy. Got some spinach in here, and I think I still have some more celery seed in here, so I'm going to try getting all that into the ground. So I'm going to run down, get a pair of scissors, and then we'll be back and start getting this planted. So the hardest part about planting this is figuring out where I'm going to plant everything, because I don't want to plant like one area with all the stuff I just sprouted and then basically killed, because if it doesn't make it, it'll be a big old bare spot. So I think I'm just going to do a section of the ones that are iffy and then plant some seeds next to them. I think what I'm going to be doing is doing the brassicas on the back half of it, and then the carrots and the beets and the radishes and the lettuces along the front half. Then that way, as like the radishes and the lettuces and the beets and everything are getting ready to be pulled out and consumed, it will give more space for the brassicas to grow in the back. And then the carrots, because they take a little bit longer, which will be fine, because they don't have big leaves that are going to shade and block the brassicas. So, show you a really cool tool. And I have no idea where I got these, but it's got a little fork at this end for like pulling up transplants, or this little scoop I found makes it really convenient for pulling them out of the Yeti. Don't scratch on the door. Out of the plugs, like this guy back here. And all you have to do is slide it down the side and kind of squeeze in. And it pulls the plug out nice and easy. So, like I said, this one looks pretty good. I'm just going to trim these sad leaves off so the plant's not trying to put energy into growing those leaves. And get this guy planted. Because he did get a little leggy, I'm going to plant him with this part in this long part here under the soil. Should grab a bucket for throw these rocks in. So I'm gonna go through this tray, get out what's good, and we'll be back with the next stuff we're gonna be planting. Oh, I decided on most of the stuff in the trays that it's not worth trying to fight to get anything salvageable. I'd have 1-2 of them, so went through, and I do have some that were worth the effort because almost all of them were still good. So gonna direct sow these seeds, and as weird as this sounds, it's been a long time since I've direct sown seeds into the ground as the hoop house drips on me. So I've gone through with this stake and made a row, and I'm going to be planting the snowball cauliflower here. So I'm doing this side is cauliflower, broccoli will be at the end, and then cabbages will be behind you. So I'll go through and get this stuff planted. I am going to use my little seed dispenser just because it makes it so much easier since I don't have fingernails anymore. So, gonna attempt in-ground gardening. Or, no, I should rephrase that. I'm gonna attempt direct sowing seeds. On this early snowball, I have 3 different ones. I'm gonna mix them. I know doing that I won't know which ones won't germinate, but then going forward, if I do that, at least then I know one of them will, because I think this is a older seed packet than the Ferry Morris and the American seed. So get these guys mixed up in this and get this planted. Okay, so direct sowing is basically just as it sounds, and just gonna lightly sprinkle these in, and I got water in my dispenser and the seeds want to stop and stick. Okay, as I was saying, these are cauliflower seeds, and you want to plant them about 1/4 of an inch down, and I am going to plant a tiny bit heavy, just to be safe, and I can always thin out later. And then you'll just go back over and just lightly cover them with the soil. Tamp it down so we got good contact with the soil. And you can go back outside. So here I've got a couple of the little amazing plants, but I am going to be planting some more, kind of like I'll plant in the center here of these, just so I know that I've got some good amazing cauliflower coming up. And then I'll do the same thing. It's like I've got the Rober here. I'll plant in between these guys. More Rober over here. It did really good for me last year, so that's why I'm planting so much of it this year. And a sign that I did something right in the soil. Let me show you what I have. Can you see him right there? Just kind of disturbing the soil a little bit. Brought out an earthworm, which is good to see in your garden soils. So I've gone through and gotten everything planted, and as you may be able to hear, it just started to rain. But this long bed here is just going to be the cauliflower in the back and radishes, a mix in the front. This one over here is going to be more cauliflower in the back and a double row of lettuce in the front. We're doing the red cord carrot for half of this one, and then tender sweet the rest of the way. I do have the two different types of cauliflower, because I've got the Rober in the back and some seeds here. And then down here I just had a few of the Durgirus cauliflower seeds left. And then I've got my broccoli in the back, the two different kinds, the Willatham and Sun King. And then I have Danvers carrots here, and Nanette's half-inch long there. Over on this side, we've got the Golden Acre cabbage in the back, Tall Top Wonder, and then Detroit Red. So I've got a row of each of those in there. Over here have a double row of carrot or spinach and Copenhagen cabbage in the back. And then the purpley kind of cabbage, the Da Vinci, I think it is. And then celery. And then it goes to Flat Dutch in the back and Pak Choi in the front. So just depending on how warm it is going to be at night as to how long it's going to take these guys to germinate. But most of it should be coming up within 7 to 14 days. So let's run across over to the seed shed and I'll show you what I've been up to in there. So out here in the seed shed I have been really busy. One thing nice about having my shift where I start at 4 o'clock in the morning is go to bed early, and even on my days off I'm typically up. I think today I slept until 5. But typically I'm up around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and not to disturb David John, I come out here and I've been putzing around in here, so let me show you where I'm at in here. Let's start over on the germination table. So today I went through and started basil seeds. I've got red basil and Thai, blue spice and sweet basil here. In the back here I did plant more, or no, this is petunias, rosemary and thyme. These are peppers that I planted last week, and peppers are slow to germinate, but I've got a serrano coming up, and then black Hungarian, sugar rush, back there, got a couple little yellow pears. It looks like I gotta squirt some water in here. In the back there I've got snapdragons and more petunias. Over here, this tray of peppers is coming on a little quicker. It's a little mix of everything. More peppers and more petunias. But as you're seeing, there's no tomatoes on there. And no, I didn't take them outside. They've got moved under a good light. So I've got all my tomatoes under the Black Magic lights. And the milkweed, even though the germination was kind of spotty, I do have some milkweed coming up. Nothing on the columbine yet, but I did up pot the pansies and the mint, the echinacea, and the stevia, and it's like a lot of it is really starting to take off and look good. And when I did the echinacea, I pulled the algae growth from around the stems, and it really didn't seem to adversely affect it, because I did kind of have to manhandle them a little bit. But the pansies have gotten up potted, pansies and Johnny Jump Ups, and the garlic chives, and all of the mint I up potted, and it is looking phenomenal. And here's another tray of the tomatoes. And I did, for Valentine's Day, David John bought me another thing of mini roses. And as you know, growing mini roses in the house, they just sit there and look beautiful for a couple days and then start drying out and start dropping their leaves. So that's kind of why those guys look rough, but they're just covered with new growth. So those will be ones that I'll be planting out in the garden. Well, this is where I'm going to end today's video. I want to thank all of you that subscribe to our channel. Hit the like button. It really means a lot to David John and I. So I'm going to go take care of that turkey, do a cleanup on her face and reapply some ointment, and go down and get this video edited so it'll be ready for you guys to watch. So have a good day and a good week, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.